Hey, what's up, guys? In today's video, I decided I'm going to make a tier list. I figured this would be the perfect time, seeing as Update 3 just launched and we have now 2 new elements. So let's get right into it. All right, so here's the tier list. And with that out of the way, thanks for watching and catch you in the next one. I'm just kidding. That's not my tier list. Well, I mean, it's like half true. I mean, we're just going to pop Phantom up there now. Just get that out of the way. Everybody knows it's going up there anyways, so we're just going to put it there now. Now, to start off, I'm going to say, like, okay, so I'm going to go from left to right. So if it's on the leftmost, it's the best out of those ones. Because, like, I think, like, nature and air are better than the other rares. But I can't really put it in C because it's still just a rare. Like, because I already know the other elements that are going in C, and these aren't on the same level. So we're going to put these as the two best. Probably 1A, 1B, but I'd say probably nature's a little better than air right now, in my opinion. Air's pretty solid corrupted, though. And then I'm going to go fire, and I'm only putting fire because it's strong in a lot of the dungeons, especially the earlier dungeons where you're going to find yourself early on. So, you know, if you're like a low player and you're pulling rares, probably fire is going to be your best one. But really, you're not going to be using rares ever in this game because it's so easy to get epics. It's really easy. So that's probably for my rares for the D row. That looks about right. Again, these, I mean, it's just varying degrees of garbage. I wouldn't use any of these if you had any choice. But if you did have to use any of these, I'm going to say air or nature. Next off for my C's, I think it's going to be pretty predictable what's going to go in here. First, Angel. That is hot garbage, okay? It's a support, and it's like the only support, and it's just terrible. We don't need heals. We don't want heals. We just need you to put out damage. And when you're using Angel, it's like we just lose DPS. So it's kind of just garbage. I see a lot of people with it in the earlier ranks, but I wouldn't suggest it. It's like, for how hard it is to get being a legendary, I would say most of the epics are better. Like, I think lightning's probably better. Light's definitely better. Ice is probably neck and neck with it. So just don't consume Angel. It's not good. It's not good at all. Next is Gravity. It's also hot garbage. It's kind of insane how they put 2 legendaries and then just made them absolute trash. Like, actual just garbage. Like, and they're so hard to pull. That's the part. If these were epics, it'd be okay. But it's the fact that they're legendaries and they just won't buff them. Like, both of these are in dire need of a buff, but are just neglected. I'm gonna say Angel's a little better than Gravity, though. Just because I think you can get a little silly with it. You know, I kind of like, if you want to be like a sword main, it might be good, you know, for healing, I guess. Maybe like some of the new raids aren't bad with maybe one person playing Angel out of like the 16, but I mean, even then, it's still close. But Gravity is just so bad. It's so bad. Next up, we probably got Ice coming in. I'd say these are all real neck and neck. Ice, I used that for a while too. I think I had that max mastery, but Ice is also pretty terrible. All of its abilities don't do much damage. It's not very versatile. It's just not good at all. It's kind of just mid. Same with Gravity and Angel. But at least with Ice, it's just an epic instead of a legendary. So, like, it's kind of more understandable for it to be mid. But still doesn't excuse it. Next off for the Bs, we probably got... Next off for the B tier. This one's pretty easy. First off, we got Lightning. Okay. Lightning's solid, especially when you have it corrupted. It's very good. It's great for like mid to like upper mid levels. Maybe when you start getting super high, it kind of drops off. It struggles to keep up, but it's solid. It's kind of underrated, and I think gets a lot more hate when it's not that far behind light. It's light's better, but it's not that much better. I don't think it's super versatile. That's one of the bigger problems that I have with lightning. I just don't think it's super versatile. I think it's very good at killing like the little guys, you know, just the ads and stuff. But like boss DPS, it just can't. It can't like keep up with like Dragon or something. And speaking of Dragon, that's the next one up. It's actually, I should have introduced Dragon first because I think it's a little better than Lightning, just because of what I just said. Dragon's last ability bails it out so hard. Like, for most of the time you're gonna have Dragon, it's going to be the worst experience possible. Like, it's gonna be awful. And then you're gonna get the last move, and you might have like not regretted at that point, but oh my god, getting to the last move is so hard because pretty much all of its damage is DPS over time, and it's excruciating for killing ads that way. It's really good boss DPS. Like up until now, it's the best boss DPS on this list. It might actually still be better than Light, which is going to go above it. But for killing ads, it is so painfully bad. And so maybe you can argue Lightning's over it. I think it's really close. Lightning's better at killing the ads, but worse at killing bosses. Dragon's better at killing bosses, but worse at killing ads. So it's like a trade-off. Personally, I was using Dragon. I switched from Lightning to Dragon, so that was my choice, obviously. But I mean, that's a decision you're gonna have to make for yourself. Honestly, I personally went Dragon over Lightning just because of the better boss damage, and because at the time I was kind of like a noob, and like I just saw it was a legendary, and I'm like, hey, let's get it, and I just consumed it, and you know, hey, we ball. But you know, these are all right. They're mid. They define mid. Now for our upper tier ones. This is, we both know both. I don't know why I'm speaking as if I'm just talking to one person, but I know which one is going ahead, and that's got to be Lava. It's not gonna light off. For the longest time, Light was like the broke man's mythic, but now that Lava's out, I think it changes a lot. I don't think it's overpowered. I've seen some of the thumbnails and some of the videos saying it's like the craziest element, and you gotta get this, and it's overpowered. Corrupted, yeah, this thing is probably insane. Corrupted, like Corrupted, this might like be like better than even like Phantom, like normal Phantom, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. Like before, even if Light was Corrupted, it still wasn't better than Phantom. But Lava Corrupted, I don't know. It might be. But we're not talking about Corrupteds. I'm just going over the base ones. Usually Corrupteds, it's pretty obvious. Like if it's Corrupted, it probably just moves up one row. But, you know, that's not always the case. But to speak on why I'm putting Lava so high and where I'm putting it, especially above Light, is mainly just because it's so versatile. Like unlike what I was saying about some of these other ones, like Dragon, not versatile at all. It can do one thing. Lightning, kinda, but again, it's just good for killing ads. Ice, like I said, that one wasn't versatile either. Lava just does it all. You want really good AoE, it's got that. It's got little minions. It's got great like boss damage. It's like the ability where it's like got this big red circle around itself, and it's like that has such, it's so good at clearing enemies. That is, and that's why I said it would be so good Corrupted, because you'd be able to just pop that ability and just start wiping the map. It'd be so easy. It'd be up there with like speed running with like Galaxy, probably. I mean, not as fast as Galaxy, obviously, but it'd be up there. So that's why I'm putting Lava so high, because the DPS is insane and super versatile. If you get it, consume it. Unless you have a mythic, then obviously pretty much always consume those. But now for the last one, that's got to be light, or the last one outside of S. It's got to be light. Light, like I said, it's the broke man's mythic, or it was for the longest time. Like if you couldn't roll a mythic, you just consumed a light, and it's good. There's a reason for that. It's good. It was better than all of the legendaries. Some might argue it's still better than all the legendaries, but they don't know what they're talking about. Everybody agreed it was better than all the other epics and rares. Like, who's using that? But light, I don't really have to say much. It's good at boss DPS. It's good at killing ads. Its beam ability is great. It's like light barrage ability thing. I don't know what it's called. That one's also really good. Like, it's just a solid element, and it's really good for like anywhere from the low dungeons all the way up to like probably right before the high dungeons. Like when you start getting like really up there, you probably are going to want a mythic, or in my opinion, maybe lava. Now for the S tiers. The S tiers are, they're the ones you're going for, okay? You want to roll and you want to get one of these and then you want to consume it. I don't care what you're using. Phantom's got to be one for me still, and I'm biased. I'm Team Phantom. This is my first mythic because I started playing a little late. But it's really good. Even after the nerf in Update 3, and yes, it did get nerfed, I believe 25 to 33% less damage. But and Reaper got buffed. So that kind of closed the gap between these two, like significantly. The fact that Reaper got buffed and Phantom got a pretty hard nerf. Now there's not really a correct answer between them, but I'm still putting Phantom up there just because the barrage, which is its final ability, is just insane. It still does the most boss DPS, I think. Whenever I load into raids, whenever I'm doing dungeons, it's consistently like I'm getting the most boss DPS. Maybe I'm just better than the other players, but I definitely think it can still put out the most. Like when you use barrage, it's crazy burst damage. And you know, obviously it's transformation, reducing most of your incoming damage. It's got step, which increases your speed and reduce your damage, so you can clear dungeons faster. The flick isn't great. You usually want to use the flick just like in tandem with your M1 ability to get out more DPS. It's got a little bit of range, but Phantom's biggest drawback is you're going to find if you use it is its range. All the Phantom's abilities are kind of like you got to be right in front of them. Okay, for the next one, Reaper or Galaxy? You put Reaper. It's got to be number 2, and it's close. It's close. I think you could easily argue Reaper above Phantom. But for me, it's got to be Reaper, right? Like, it's after its buff, Diablo got buffed, so it's the big skull ability that comes down and starts like it's like vibrating your whole screen. Oh my god, I hate when people use it because you can't see anything. But it's like the duality. If you're playing with just Reapers and Phantoms, you're not going to be able to hear anything because when the barrages are going off, especially like 10 of them in a raid, you can't hear anything. It's just like constant hitting, and then like a Reaper's going off, it's just vibrating everybody's screen. It's kind of crazy, but Reaper is good, really good. Obviously, I don't know how much I have to say about this. Its transformation's insane. Its M1 is insane. Or like its scythe ability is insane, which is pretty much it's M1. His summons are really good. I mean, as long as you keep them alive, they're good. But even if you don't keep them alive, now with Diablo being buffed, it gets crazy boss DPS. He's very good at clearing ads as well, like the little guys. Just because of his scythe and because of his little guys that he can use to kind of like kill multiple enemies at once. And get kind of creative with it. He's still insane. So yeah, I think that's going to be my second best, but it's, like I said, it's really close. You could argue one or the other pretty easily. And lastly, we got Galaxy. Galaxy, it's good. It's good. And I think it's pretty close to lava. Galaxy is just really fun to use. Like, in my opinion, out of the mythics, it is the most fun to use. And if you're speedrunning or something like that, it's probably the best to use. Like, if you want to speedrun optimally, your team is like a Galaxy and like a Phantom, and that's it. Because the Galaxy is going to speed you through the dungeon and the Phantom will wipe the boss. But for the actual Phantom ability, like outside of speedrunning and just like having fun with it, it's still really good. Like, it's still better than all these other ones, in my opinion. Like, clears them pretty easily. It just doesn't quite get Reaper Phantom because it doesn't do as nearly as much boss DPS, as definitely doesn't do as much as Phantom. It doesn't really come close to either one of them. So I think that's why I'm going to place Galaxy right under. But if we're just talking about clearing ads, it's probably the best in the game. Because it's one ability where you transform into this like little like galaxy ball and just start shooting everywhere. You can just kill ads like crazy fast. It's only matched by like Phantom when you're using Barrage and Step. But yeah, it's got one ability that's really annoying though. Like if you're running raids with the Galaxy main, its ability where it like pulls them up into that purple ball. That is so annoying. Oh my god, people will just troll with that thing because it tickles them, right? And it's just spinning them in a circle. And so you'll have like a raid full of like 15 people just waiting for these enemies to stop spinning in a circle. That's a little off topic, but Galaxy kind of like, it kind of makes me mad a little bit how some people use it to troll in raids. But hey, maybe that's just, again, part of the fun of the ability, you know? Like if you want to just have fun, I think Galaxy is the most fun. I mean, that's my opinion, but that's about my tier list. I think the one I put up earlier in the video might have been even better, where like Phantom was S tier and all the other ones were completely irrelevant. Don't even worry about them, just get Phantom. I think that one was pretty good as well. But if you want a more serious one, it's probably this one. I'm looking here. I'm not gonna if I'd make any changes. The only ability I don't know super a lot about is probably Gravity. The most I've ever seen with that one was my brother use it a little bit when he had it. He got all the abilities, but like it was the meteor shower. It just, none of it felt like it did really anything. So I put it down here because I definitely know it's not better than Lightning or Dragon. But that's probably the only one that I was iffy on. If it's going like, I mean, I knew it was always going in C. It's not better than Dragon or Lightning. I can confirm that, but it's just the only one I haven't seen a lot of. Like, you either used a bunch in person, like used a bunch myself, or seen a bunch of other people use. Like I said, the most I've seen is just my brother used it a few times, and then he switched off for Reaper. No, I think that's about it. That seems like a pretty good tier list. You guys probably have your own opinion. You guys might dispute these mythics a bit though. Like, I know, or maybe even the Broke Man's mythic, like Light. You guys might say that's still better than Lava. I don't know. I mean, I don't see how anybody could say that, but I've seen it a few times, so it's kind of silly to me. Yeah, I think that's my tier list. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and see you in the next one.